fabrics. I be dripping to death, I need a casket.
Do you know what the best part of the year for me is when, and you guys will have this next summer, is when you have the speech day, everybody else goes away. It's just A2 left, although they're not A2 anymore because they've left the school. They come back, we have a reception before the Leavers Ball, and you know the kind of veil between you comes down because the A2s are now adults in their own right. And that's what I liked at Bryanston when I was here, and it's certainly what I like about teaching there, because that doesn't feel awkward at that reception. I don't stay for the Leavers Ball because it's too long, too late, everything like that. But when that veil comes down, it's not a drama at all to see the people that you're talking to as being adults in their own right, because you've been building up to that point over 5 years. Particularly with your tutorial pupils, you know, they've come and sat down and you've had a bit of a go at them and you've tried to tell them to do more work for their GCSEs and you've given them a bit of guidance for this. And at the end of the day, if we're trying to do anything that's worthwhile, it's to produce decent 18-year-olds who are going to go out into the world and be happy talking to anyone and be comfortable and be confident in their own skin and things like that. So, you know, that for me, I think is the key. And I sort of go on about this too much, and I think some schools can get this wrong. You know, you have the great privilege to go to a school where you get lots of advantages, but that doesn't make you something. And I don't like the being an old something-onian idea. I think that's where it can become arrogance, isn't it? If your confidence is based simply on the fact that you've been somewhere that isn't you, you know, if you can wear your tie and say, this makes me this kind of person, that can quickly turn into arrogance. I think confidence without arrogance is being confident in who you are as an individual, and that involves that engagement over years, really.
Yeah. I completely I really like just respect the sort of like Bryanston ethos, because I don't mean to like put down other schools or whatever, but so I have 3 brothers and they've all been to similar private schools. So 2 went to Marlborough, 1 went to Sherborne, and the sort of Marlborough mentality is form you into your old Marlburian. Look at all these old Marlburians. We have Bear Grylls and stuff like that. But it's all just a formula, and sometimes it doesn't work. And you went to Camford, and Camford's a little less like that. But in a way, it can, compared to Bryanston, it still is a little bit of a formula.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Did you find that? Or
yeah, I would say it's quite similar. Like, I still think it is trying to get you to that, just like the best you can be almost. Yeah. I think with Camford, they look for you more academically than here. Like I said, it's a bit more relaxed here. I know for me it works better here because I'm not the most academic, and then Camford, they really did want the absolute best out of you and nothing but that. Yeah. That's what I mean,
I think everywhere's changed a little bit, but you know, this kind of thing about identity was formed at a time where that identity was important, and you could get into that gentleman's club in London if you wore your old school tie, and you could get into that law firm if you did that. But I think to hold on to that too much in the current day and age is a little bit of a disservice to people, actually, because I think those kind of jobs don't really exist anymore.
Yeah, but the old Bryanstonian
outside
scheme,
Parliament,
the old Bryanstonian scheme is quite influential in gaining contacts.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not saying don't celebrate being an old boy of the school, but don't think that means that you are something. It means that you have a shared experience.
There's no divine right to like.
No, there's no divine right. It's just that you happen to be one of the incredibly fortunate people who's managed to make the most of that, and that goes for Marlborough or Camford or whatever. It's about being enormously grateful for the opportunities that you've been given. And I have to say, it's one of the reasons why I quite like the fact that I've just been doing interviews for people coming into the sixth form, that I like that process, because you often get a lot of people who come and say, I'm really fortunate to be here and I'm going to make the most of it. And that's a nice contrast from people who sort of take it all for granted, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. I think that's quite a good process as well.
I be dripping to death, I need a casket.